Atachin chitab Kalenjin eng ketesiet noton nechame nebo Kass TV watile eng kila kasit noton nebo kwaeng kasi kemitwan eng kibagenge en Ikweny Emet. Kainenyu ko Shadrack Mutai ako en oret nebo kabarunet ketindoi Naomi Cherotich ako en betutab raini en tetutiet noton nebo Ikweny Emet ame kosingo ngotinge ak labatet noton nebo Kirdam Half Marathon testai eng komosta nebo Baringo. Tetat kotestai en agenge nebo arawetab 10 nebo kenyit kobaten ame kosingo batai kidogo kenai kele tos keljinoik chekotestai kobit tinge ak labatanoton netab ngetoi en kenyisiek ang'wan chekokosirto ko tos ne missing ko en meng'ik chebo Baringo ak rwoik komugul kotinge ak noton kotor kemiten ak patron nebo labatanoton ine kora ko MP nebo Baringo Central inendet ko Joshua Kandie komwoe kole tos keljin konyor biikab emet kobun labatet koboto rwoik ak missing ko ne labatet anan ne kamutet nebo labatet nebo kenyiniton ako ne nebeljingei icheket konyor ibwat ile tetat kiyum chepkondok chekitoreten biikab emet en ribetab itonwekab emet ak missing kora ko biik cheosen ak biik chemaimuchigei kenyor Joshua Kandie en komalo akot kunoton ngetau logoiwekab emet cheitun en ketesiet nebo Kass TV. Kakokimit President William Ruto kotestai serikali kokochin toretet nemagat urerenik tugul chebo emoni asikomuch konyorunen keljin talendaisiekwak. Kamwa kole noton ko oret agenge nekotestai kosuldaen serikali nebo ketekat stadiums en komoswek terterchin en emetab Kenya ko oret agenge nebo kikimit ureriosiek.
To every girl watching us from Game in Siaya, Kibra in Nairobi, Amalemba in Kakamega, Tarbach in Wajir, Bamba in Kilifi, or from Lokichar in Turkana, hear this clearly. Where you come from does not determine where you can go. Talent is not confined to big cities. Greatness is not for a privileged few. It can emerge from every village, every school, every county. Dream boldly, work relentlessly, and when opportunity comes, be ready. Ladies and gentlemen, this achievement is not an accident, and it must not be a one-off, as we have been told here. We must make it the usual rather than the exception. Nations that consistently excel in sports invest in young people long before the world knows their names. That is exactly what Kenya is doing. At the grassroots, more than 10,000 young athletes are currently enrolled in structured development programs run through our schools, county governments, and the Kenya Academy of Sports. Elizabeth Opio, Godensia Maloba, and Brenda Awor are products of that deliberate investment. They were identified through the Kenya Schools Sports Association and Kenya. Our commitment goes beyond infrastructure. Last year alone, the government of Kenya spent 4.5 billion Kenya shillings to support our national teams, covering accommodation, kits, allowances, and logistics so that our athletes can train and compete in dignity. To our junior starlets, very soon you will walk onto a football pitch in Morocco. The Kenyan flag will be played. And just before kickoff, each one of you will place your hand over the badge on your jersey. Our national anthem will be played. In that moment, remember this, that badge is bigger than football. It carries the dreams of millions of Kenyans. It carries the pride of an entire nation. Go and make history once again. Mutafanya hivyo? Beverly, mko tayari? Mko tayari, eh? Very good. Manamali, are you ready? Or the WAFCON? Tafanya bidii? Very good.
Yekiistoenge noton kebendi komosta nebo Olkalau ole kakoit let tetutik tugul chetokyingei lewenisiet en koning'ate ng'atutik nebo Olkalau. Kamwa en betutab raini nebo ng'echeret en kibagengeit noton nebo lewenisiet ak kiwotosiek nebo IEBC Dr. Erastus Ethekon kole kokoib tuguk tugul chekiboisien en lewenisiet en komosta noton nebo Olkalau. En komostanyin komwa Inspector General nebo Police Douglas Kanja kole kokiyokto ribikab kalyet cheite 1,000 asikomuch korib kalyet ak tetutik tugul tokyingei kosulda lewenisionoton en oret nemie neboto kikimit kalyet en keberta nebo Olkalau.
All preparations for the by-election scheduled for Thursday, the 16th of July 2026, to fill the position of Member of National Assembly for Olkalau constituency in Nyandarua County are progressing as scheduled. Delivery of election materials, both critical and non-critical, to Olkalau. Certified the register that will be used in Olkalau, that is the voters register. And this register is currently displayed at every polling station. The sanctity and the secrecy of the vote requires that you keep it secret. That's why it's very, very important that we facilitate you to vote by way of secret ballot. So it will defeat the purpose if you again make that ballot public. And it is against Section 7 of the Election Offences Act. You shall actually be prosecuted. And if you are found guilty, you will pay a fine a fine of up to 1 million Kenya shillings. So we need to tell Kenyans this matter is very serious. Besides that 1 million Kenya shillings, the offending party can also be imprisoned for a term of not exceeding 3 years. We have those voters who for one reason or another are not able to go through the voting process and they require special assistance. The law allows that those voters can be assisted by a person of their choice. No one person is allowed to assist more than one voter. We urge the public to report to the Commission so that we take firm and stern action against those perpetrators.
Over 1,000 police officers deployed to ensure that the by-election is adequately covered. We have a minimum of 2 police officers per every polling station. Their work shall be to safeguard the voting materials, the voting process itself, while offering adequate security at each and every polling station. There are specialized teams that have been deployed to give an overall and unbreachable security ring as follows. I have deployed 4 platoons of the General Service Unit officers. I have deployed 4 platoons of anti-stock theft unit officers. I've also deployed 4 water cannons. We will be present and we will not allow any form of disruption.
Chikilisiet kobun kibagengeit noton nebo chikilisiet nebo Night Frank Kenya's Wealth and Investment Trends Report nebo kenyitab 2026 kole tesetai konyoru chamet neo emetab Kenya eng kwenutab chemung'arainik eng kasuldaetab mung'aret.
Kong'ololjin ketisian en oret ne inegen koyebata tuyet nekayai en taonitab Kericho mobororietab Okiek en county nebo Kericho chebo koita chelimo kole kikobun icheket tuinwek kosubkei ak nematindoi meng'otosiek kasarta nekikimanda en mbarenikwak kingomiten kandoinatet kiplelachek.
En iman ko kikobur bichu komokitoret.
Takenyor report noton en komalo kobaten en inguni ingebe county nebo Kericho ole kakomongei bororiet noton nebo Okiek kobun koita chelimo en county nebo Kericho akomach serikalitab emoni kotoret ichek konyor kakaranet en kamwa kole moche kewekyi icheket imbarenikwak asikonyor icheket meng'otosiek en mwaet kole kikitaban en kasarta nekoi.
Kong'ololjin ketisian en oret ne inegen koyebata tuyet nekayai en taonitab Kericho mobororietab Okiek en county nebo Kericho chebo koita chelimo kole kikobun icheket tuinwek kosubkei ak nematindoi meng'otosiek kasarta nekikimanda en mbarenikwak kingomiten kandoinatet kiplelachek.
En iman ko kikobur bichu komokitoret anan mokosich serikali kong'eten ngomiten chumbek ko kikiseret bichu okot bomorinyun ak ane ko kimenye kapchain o kitinye nego, o kikireben, o kikiwechowech. So bichu en koita chelimo ko kikobur en kenyisiek chechang. Mi biik aut alak chekikiba olimbo emetab Nakuru, ele kikuren Olungurwoni, ele kikuren Saosa, ko king'eten bichoton Saosa factory en Kericho. Ko ngunon kibwote kora kelelen bichoton kora kotom konyorun makao nekararan kora.
Konetik ko kekurenon Saia Arap Siongok, amengindetab Somburet. Ako kitindoi bananda neo nea. Ngunon lagok momi ele mi. Ngekecham mbarenikab forest, koron ibare koet ketik kele naakte nebak. Mecham inakte nyokerotyin owero. Aya kit agenge ko kwo keromut. Chobok chekokenomchigei lagokab Kipsigis en Kipsigis. Wan ko kararan okonyon.
Kamwa meng'ichoton kole kiit kotokigei icheket komoswek cheterter en emoni asikocheng meng'atoshek kit nekikobun uinwek cheechen.
En nguni ko bichu choket ko kikobakel tugul ele kanyorchi meng'otet. Mi alak chemiten chelimo koita. Komi chekikikoi plotisiek lakini monyor. Kesome kora bichoton kele nyolu ketoret kora bichoton keker. Echek alak ko kikebe kou ngunon biikab olin bo Olungurwoni. Komi biik kikiba Olungurwoni chekibo kapchainen Saosa. Ak kobur en oloton kora ak Bugara. Matinye taitolit kibo kobur kiten en mbarenikab biik. So kesome serikali keker kele kilyonen asikobit kesopchen kotab okiek.
Kosubkei ak icheket komakat en kandoindetab emet President Dr. William Ruto kokushi kong icheket asikonyor imanda.
Somenyon komie kimoche keker kele kakitoret ak chechu. Ak chechu ko kikobur koik keny ako kikobetyo lagokwak komasomoso malian. Kotko ngunon kotebe kora kole kilyonen asikenyoru imanda. Kesome serikalinyon nebo Arap Ruto kele please William Ruto ker kushingong bichu. Ako kiweche kongoi en boisionik chekoyai en bororietab Kalenjin tugul ak en Kenya kwa jumla. Amu kikere rurutik chekoiyai. Lakini kushingong ak chechu ak Kipsigisechu ak Kipsigis clan ak bichu alak chenyolildos.
Kekuron Alice Chelangat Juma. So kinosome ko nan akoi ng'echeret Arap Ruto korok koik tamtu. So kotom amwa kiy age tugul. Kinomwoe Arap Ruto konyo kokerwech Somburet kit neu tapatali kosom kwa chepyoso kokutuny kotie kotom akere kingesichon kemwogegei Kipsigisiek.
Kamwa bororionoton nebo Okiek kole kokotestai koboisien ortinwek cheterter cheboto chebo ng'atutik konyor icheket mbarenikwak asikonyor sobet nebo atkai tugul.
Ko kisuboten serikali ko kikeker kele mi mbaret iman nemiten en Somburet. Ko ngap ko kikisubot mbaranitot keker kele miten keker kele takikonech mbaranaton. Okay, komi ono Senate en Senate bunge nebo Senate en Nairobi. Ko kokeker kele koketep kele mbaretab Kipkoech Arap Chuma kosome mbaranaton bo Somburet amun kinde bunge Senate en bunge kemoe kele kakisubot any oranaton keker kele kakikonech haki nenyonet nebo Kipkoech Arap Chuma.
Aripotinyi logoiwekab emet chebo Kass kong'eten county nebo Kericho, kainenyu ko Robert Siele.
Iboru chikilisiet noton nebo konekit kobun kibagengeit noton nebo chikilisiet nebo Knight Frank Kenya's Wealth and Investment Trends noton nebo kenyitab 2026 kole tesetai konyoru chamet emoni eng kwenutab chemung'arainik eng kasuldaetab mung'aret.
The 2026 edition of the Kenyan Knight Frank Wealth Report, which is our fourth edition of the report, we're now starting to see trends emerge, and we're seeing that there's continued confidence in the ultra-high net worth and high net worth segments in spite of domestic and global headwinds. So people are still pretty confident in the Kenyan market, and I think a lot of that's to do with the growth rates we're seeing. A lot of these people are also diversifying their investments in real estate from traditional asset classes into more alternative investments, emerging asset classes, things like data centers, which shows us that they've got good exposure to traditional asset classes like residential. They're now looking for logistics and data centers to give them a little bit more growth. So the Kenyan Wealth and Investment Trends Report highlights how the ultra-high net worth and high net worth segment of the market continue to prioritize ESG, particularly green assets in their portfolios.
Some of the key themes that we are highlighting from the report in this year's Wealth and Investment Trends Report for Kenyan edition is that number one, domestic confidence remains strong. many of the high-net-worth individuals are keen to invest and live in the country, as opposed to the previous years when we were seeing a lot of shift among these wealthy individuals or going outside the country to invest and live there. This time around, we're seeing a lot of confidence in the country. Number two, we're also witnessing a trend whereby people are now shifting their attention towards alternative asset classes. For instance, real estate investment trusts, bonds, money market funds, as a way of diversifying the investments portfolio. And then lastly, as you mentioned rightfully, the environmental social governance, ESG, is equally on the rise. And this actually aligns with some of our findings from other publications where we have witnessed that the ESG compliant assets tend to perform better. They have increased occupancies compared to the non-ESG assets.
Kagomwa minister noton tinyegei ministry nebo mwanik Opiyo Wandayi kole manyolu kobit kayuiset age tugul eng kwenutab emetab Kenya kotieng'e kibwotyin kele imuch komamite mwanik cheyomotin.
Kenya's fuel supply has held firm throughout. Under our government-to-government arrangements, cargoes have continued to be sourced from a wider set of loading regions beyond the Gulf. Every scheduled cargo has arrived and has been offloaded on time, and fuel has remained available at the pump throughout the country. And that means, therefore, that we have been able to achieve our foremost objective as government, and that is to ensure steady and uninterrupted supply of petroleum products, even against the backdrop of all these many challenges emanating from the Middle East. International benchmarks have now begun to climb again, and this renewed pressure will be reflected in the pricing cycles that will follow. This ministry will continue to work closely with the industry to keep supply consistent and uninterrupted, to defend the fixed terms of our government-to-government arrangement, and to keep Kenyans fully and openly informed as the picture continues to develop. Those factors out there that create a situation where prices continue to escalate, even though they are beyond our control as a country and as government, we are lucky that within the G2G framework, the freight and premium cost component remains fixed. And that to a large extent continues to cushion our consumers from these escalations. And against this backdrop, I wish to assure all Kenyans that these global developments have not affected the availability of petroleum products in our country, which has strengthened Kenya's energy security while reducing pressure on foreign exchange demand. This arrangement has enhanced supply predictability, improved resilience within our petroleum supply chain, and strengthened our ability to navigate periods of global market uncertainty. In the July-August 2026 pricing cycle, the government will deploy a subsidy from the Petroleum Development Levy to the tune of Kenya shillings 945 million to sustain the current price levels. These interventions, ladies and gentlemen, reflect our broader commitment to protecting consumers, supporting businesses, and safeguarding the economy from external shocks, while ensuring that petroleum products remain as affordable as possible under prevailing global market conditions. I therefore wish to reassure motorists, public transport operators, manufacturers, farmers, businesses, investors, and indeed all consumers that there is adequate fuel across the country.
Kagotoi MCAs chebo county nebo Kericho chikilisiet nebo chepkondok silingisiek bilion 10 chekitabonji serikalit nebo county noton nebo Kericho.
Kong'ololjin sirikab logoiwek en County Assembly nebo Kericho mwa kandoindetab chechang en County Assembly noton Philip Rono kole tokyin County Assembly chikiletab rabisiek cheite bilionisiek 10 chekinyor county nebo Kericho en kenyitab mung'aret nekosirto.
Ko yan kakiker kenyitab serikali kemoe kenai kele rabinik 10 billion chekibo Kericho chekikakipitishan en budget ko kikiboisien en oret ainon. Ko noton amune kitebe ngunon kele kikokindewok rabinikab sipitali owal brongetisyek kabar biik koristo wagonjwa chemi sipitali chebo referral hospital ak chebo sub county hospital. Kokiteb kora kele kikokindewok rabinikab kerichek kalyan wagonjwa chemong'u en district konyokwole kerichek tugul en kemis chemi nje en sipitali. Chemi kapkatet komong'u nyokwole, chemi Londiani komong'u nyokwole. So tepset kityo nebo county assembly o kasitab county assembly.
Kosubkei ak rono konoton ko boisietab county assembly nebo Kericho ole manyolu kobit ng'alalet nemusee tokyinetabgei nebo MCAs.
Kikokinde rabinik chekiolen kawek chekiipchin wananchi, chekiolen majani chai, chekiolen mananas chebukomine wananchi, chekiolen macadamia, chekiolen avocado. Kemoe kenai kityo kele kingindewok rabinichu ko kioal avocado chetian o kioib koba ano o kinyor ng'o, who are the beneficiaries. So chon ko kasitab county assembly, motindo kasit age neo. So agere kityo orogendos biik kokoleini kasitab MCA ko kikikoi kele primary oversight kwo MCA, secondary oversight nebo county kwo Senate. So kakinam kasinyon kityo ngap kobe kenyit konye, kemoe kityo kele accountability nebo 10 billion. 10 billion is a lot of money.
Kamwa Rono kole boisiechin biikab emet ole katil koboisien ad hoc committee asikojaktaen boisiet ak komong report en chokyinet.
Kemoe kityo konai wananchi kole 10 billion ichu ko kokyai nang ne. Katebe biik kole kalyan mayai committee. Committee chekitindoi sectoral committees ko committee 12 ako tindoi age tugul membaek 9. So mo possible why biik 12 times 9 biik over 100 kwai oversight agenge. So yon kateni sheria, yon kateni uchunguzi departments chechang ko kit nekyoe kechobe kit nekure special committee non kikuren ad hoc. So mamoi kworogenchi ad hoc committee is just like any other committee, u committee nebo roads, u committee nebo water. The only difference is that investigating more than one department.
Kamwa whip nebo county assembly nebo Kericho na MC nebo waditab Seretut Chepsororiet Haron Rotich kole tokyingei departments cheite 4 cheboto ortinwek ak kabatisiet asikonai boisietab rabisiek cheboto chebo toretosiek chenootin kou floka chekinyor department nebo kabatisiet en county nebo Kericho.
Kwanza ni mambo ya mabarabara, ya pili katika kila wadi, ya pili ni mambo ya kilimo ambapo kuna pesa ya fadhili ambapo zilikuwa zinaelekea katika zile kufadhili ile miradi ya kilimo katika kila wadi. Na ya tatu ni mambo ya maji. Kuna pesa zinatoka inaitwa Floka na pia NAFCDP. All those funded projects are from the donors. And therefore what we are seeking is we want clarity on the projects that has been done in 2 successive financial years. And so those are our request to those officers wakuje katika bunge waweze kujieleza hizo pesa zilienda wapi.
Aripot chenloekab emet chebo Kass kong'eten county nebo Kericho, kainenyun ko Robert CLA.
En oret nebo ketyem kekirinda rarunet noton nebo boisionik mising ko en kwenut noton nebo neranik kokakotuyogei kibagengeisiek cheterterchin asikonet neranik koboisien muswoknotetab kasari ko oret agenge nebo konyor naet icheket akomuche icheket kotoi boisionik choton chebo eunek.
Majority of Kenyans are young. We know that this is a priority for us as a country to make sure that young people are employed and making money from their skills. So there's a number of things that we need to do. At the individual level, we need to invest in skills. So young people need to have technical skills like photography, video production, graphic design, and of course the skills that have to do with performance marketing. Once you have those skills, how do you go out and make sure you're able to attract a client and more importantly to keep a client? Those are marketing skills. And in addition to that, the skills around actually keeping a client, which are business skills. Then there's a lot of responsibility we have as an ecosystem. We need to provide financing for young businesses so young people are able to then have the capital that they need to start their businesses and to sustain them.
Google made a commitment of $900,000 in supporting this initiative. And this support was channeled to 2 organizations who are our partners, DOT and Africa Digital Media Foundation. And our reason for doing that is because we wanted to heed the call that was made to us by President William Ruto to support young people and young creatives in converting their knowledge of creativity into income that they can earn.
I think one of the most important thing is that just to mention that our project during delivery was about 2 to 3 weeks. And when we were doing our co-design with the young people, they requested a platform that they can go back to for resources. But as we've seen even during our presentation today and the stories from young people, many young people, after they've learned, they go back and teach others, and they need somewhere that they can get the resource to actually support their peers. So because of that, ADMI and Digital Opportunity Trust decided to come up with a platform where we can curate content that young people can refer to beyond the learnings that they had during the delivery of the program. So we are hoping that through that, the young people are able to continue supporting others. And from the testimonials that we also had, we had young people that have all started their CBOs, and they are also training others, and for them to get resources to be able to support their peers.
Kagosom nebo ngecheret eng kibagengeit noton nebo boisiekab kok en county nebo Nandi Wilson Chemalal serikalitab emoni koro kole kaisuldaen en oret nebo chokchinet ak en oret netagunot lipanetab melekwek chebo kila arawa chekitawan serikali sikomuch kelipanji boisiekab kok.
Kamwa Chemalal kole boiboichin ichek ko boisiekab kok kakwoutiet ki President William Ruto kekoch melekwek chebo kila arawa boisiekab kok ole kasom ine kesulen eng oret nebo chokchinet ak netagunot.
Asikobit konyor boiyot age tugul 3,000. Kimoche kelechi President nebo emetab Kenya Samoei Arap Ruto amu kikosirto chepkondok chotok. Kongichek chetononi chepkondok chotok koker kole kanyor boisiekab kok komat kokaegei amu kimoche kenyor chepkondok chotok eng oret ne negit asikobit kotestai boisiet nebo serikali kong'ete boisiekab kok agoi President.
Kabit eng kasarta nekaboibochi ine kora tetutik cheterter chebo bandab tai chetestai kosule serikalitab President William Ruto eng emet mising ko eng county nebo Nandi.
Kemoche kelechi serikalitab Arap Ruto kongoi mising amu kokero boisionikab Kenya Kwanza eng Kenya tugul. Korok kosubkei ak komasta nebo Nandi County. Kokiro university, teksetab ortinwek kong'ete Imagi agoi Oronekai Nandi. Kokiro ng'alekab beek, kokiro korik chekitekse chemenye biik, kokiro siret nemi Nandi ak korik chetesetai keteche kora Nandi. Kemoche kele kiungani President William Samoei eng term 2 kotestai sikowang boisionikchik ako boisiet nekararan koboto serikalit ni tugul.
Kotinygei ak bolotet netestai eng county nebo Nandi, kosom ine kero kele kabit kandit eng kandoik tugul.
Eng siasa nebo bolotet nengap ketinye Felix Koskei na inendet ko agenge ko chito neo eng Nandi nenekite serikalit. Ko kamoche alechi biik chengap kotinye siaset nebo besanani. Amoche anai ole Felix Koskei ko chito neo eng serikali, chito neimuch kosir biik, chito neimuch kemwechi ak kikiro boisiet nekikwai, kikosir biik eng oret age tugul. Ko kamoche amwochi bichu alechin kalya ngokakekonech ng'echeret neu noton nebo Felix kokonyitech President Samoei Arap Ruto kotokomi biik chengap kochusune ng'alek chemakororon. Amoche ale bichu chochusune ng'alek akotokchini Felix Koskei komoche omwa iman ole angu kakikerwo akobo opposition amu kosubkei ng'alek chewoe komokonyiti Felix kosubkei ak lekikoito President kotokoi ng'echeret. Kekere kele u akobo opposition. Omwa kabisa obunchi opposition kabisa.
Kamwa ine kora kole nyolu kekochi boroindo kandoik tugul chemite serikali kwalda sera chebo serikali.
Amoche ale kokikere alak chekorwai kotini. Amoche ale chotok kora komi oretab opposition. Wetangula ko chito agenge nemoche kobor boisionikab President chekikisirto eng assembly nebo national. Kon tinye right komwochi biik kolechi kikisirto ng'alek cheu chu ak kotoretkei ak Senate eng boisionik chekikeyai ak chemoche keyai. Ko nguno konyolchin inendet kwo komwochi biik nemong oretab siasa. Amoche amwa kora kosubkei ak speaker nebo Senate Amason Kingi ale nyolchin kora komwochi biik boisionik chekikosirto eng Senate ak kemoche kemwa kongoi amu inendet neribe gavanaek simesir ng'alekab chepkondok eng kamisiet nemi barak.
Kong'etegei county nebo Nandi logoiwekab emet chebo Kass. Kainenyu ko Nelson Tarpei.
Kakokimit kampunit noton nebo Yamaha kotestai icheket kosuldaen makutik tugul chebo kastomaekwak mising ko en nguni boiboenjin kenyisiek 71 yetab ngotoi icheket mung'aret kampunit noton.
My name is Agnes Musioka. I ride an MTO3. I come from Nairobi. Well, for me, I use my bike for daily commute to work and back home, and I kind of beat the traffic because I don't have to stay in the traffic for long, so that's me save on time, and also the fuel efficiency. It's the most economical thing I can ever consider compared to using a car daily, so it's the best option for you to use it within the city. Yeah.
So we are here today for a very special day, which is Yamaha Day. And we are actually supporting our customers, doing service, checking their motorcycles, giving them value of what they already purchased, because we believe in good service to our customers. At the same time, we trust that our customers, by checking on their bikes, doing proper service, they will be able to enjoy their motorcycles for a very long time. We inspect the motorcycles, especially for all our Yamaha customers. We do inspections, we do diagnostics for free, and then we give out the diagnostic report to our customers. At the same time, we also do the oil change, completely free, courtesy of Seafarer Mobility. Spare parts availability is very, very key. So we have all the spare parts, and that's why we are able to solve all the problems from the scooters, motorcycles, up to high-end motorcycles. So we have no issues of spare parts. We have no issues on technical expertise.
Kwa majina naitwa Rashid Mohamed, nimetoka Mombasa, and I'm riding FZ 150. Nimetumia hiyo bike kwa miaka mitatu, and I'm the first customer in Coast region to have that unit.
Chitab kolenjin kakit let en yoton logoiwekab emet kaitun en ketesiet noton nebo Kass TV kobaten ibwat ile tomo kit let tututiet en komalo ketuitosi ak Joshua Kandie MP noton nebo Baringo Central keng'alen akobo ng'alekab bandab tai polatet labatet noton nebo Kirida Marathon koboto kora kibagenge nebo kandoik mising ko boisiet nebo neranik en alak en kandoikab polatet asikomuch kotoi kambakosiek anan noton kuren bichu goons. Kamwa kole ngomi komosta nebo kandoitab polatet kekuren activist, yon miten komosin kokuren goons. Ngenyoru noton en komalo. Okot kou noton amache atyakta en yoton Naomi Cherotich nekomiten en oret noton nebo kabarunet.